You are live on Kakombe LinkedIn Live. You are welcome. Wherever you're connecting with us tonight, you are welcome. And thank you for connecting with us. Another live, another special guest. My guest tonight, it's someone again that I've connected in the past. But as always, tonight is his night. He's coming to this show to share with us his experience. So my guest tonight is Luc-Yves Pagal Vinette. Not only has one of the coolest names, but he's the coolest guy around. So let me bring my guest, Yves. Welcome to the show.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for
Welcome.
having me, Kakombe.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure to have you with me tonight. You and I go back. I
Indeed.
was actually surprised to see you in Canada while I'm in USA, but we're going to talk about that later on. Let's start by introducing yourself. If can you introduce yourself?
Sure. As Kakombe mentioned, my name is Luc-Yves Pagal Vinette. I'm originally French, so born and bred in France, but with mixed background. So my mother was from Cameroon, and my father was from France. And well, I'm a seasoned professional in the telecom industry for 20 years. And I relocated in Canada in 2016. And before that, I was living in France and then also in the UK for 7 years. And this is where I actually met Kakombe in the UK.
Wow.
So this is who I am.
It's been a while. We're going to talk about connection, you and I, from UK to France, myself to USA, and yourself in Canada. But before we do that, can you tell us about what you do? Looking at your, the flyer, that's, you have one of the title, so many titles. So can you tell us about what you do and how do you wear all those titles?
I'm director of product marketing for Amdocs Networks. So Amdocs is a well-known company
Mhm.
that is one of the leader in IT systems. So we do BSS and OSS, service platforms.
Okay.
And what I do is in product marketing, we tend to simplify the way that we communicate about the technologies that
Hmm.
we're selling. So we're selling, as I said, a combination of products and technologies that we regroup with professional services, but
Mm.
also we also work with a lot of partners, so they bring different value within the complete solution chain. And the goal for me is to evangelize about these technologies and the value that we provide across the chain. And this is the complexity upon complexity, because we have different domains
Hmm.
for an operator. And the RAN, the 5G core, and also the network itself. And
Mm.
the goal is to look at all domains, how they could connect together to formalize, better solutions for monetization, and also the evolution of technologies themselves. So this is what I do for a living. So it's much more about technology, strategy, and also communication about these elements.
Good stuff. And a bit of marketing on top of all that.
Absolutely, communication is everything.
Thank you so much. If you're just connecting with us, you are on Kakombe LinkedIn Live. Here in this show, I meet special people, special guests like my friend uh, Luc tonight, who we are talking about technology, but we're talking about himself and how we connected. We're gonna touch about that in the future. So how is your day, in your job? Can you tell me, your regular day at work? How does it start? How do you? Tell us a little bit more.
I would say, I've been working with for different companies,
Mm-hmm.
within these 20 years of experience. But
Mm.
this is the first time I joined a company with so much dynamics
Okay.
into it. We are 30,000 employees in company or
Mm-hmm.
large organization worldwide, but
Mm.
nonetheless, the complexity of the dynamics inside is so rapid, so vivid.
Mm.
It's going 200 miles an hour every day. But
Wow.
every day, what we tend to do is to, you know, put a little bit of finesse about the technologies that we're building into the market, and
Okay.
also how do we communicate about these technologies? How do we put a lot of emphasis onto the different aspects that makes a difference for us. So it means collaborating with my boss, the head of Amdocs Networks,
Mm-hmm.
connecting with the head of mobile services to
Mm.
discuss about the value that they want to bring into what we can say within the industry about what we do. It's about I'm one of the key guy. I'm not the only guy, but one of the key
One
guys
out.
to
Mm-hmm.
talk about the end-to-end solution within the company. Not talking about technologies itself, but connecting all the unconnected realm or unconnected domains, and then
Together.
formalizing an end-to-end perspective about what we do for a living. And this is a good part of what I do every day. It's to read a lot of studies, to analyze about the new stuff that we're releasing to the public and outside, discussing with our partners, and then understanding what they can bring to the table. And this is basically what I do, and write quite a bit, because in the past, let's say 6 months, I've been writing something like almost 30 articles, with analysts, with,
Wow.
with journalists, and then doing some interviews and doing some preparation for my boss for marketing events and everything. So it's kind of a roller coaster. It never stops.
It never stops. Technology is moving so fast these days. Changes are happening every day, and you are just a man. But I'm gonna take you back. I like to take my guests back on how
And
it all started. How did it all started for you? How did you get into telecom? You know, did was it your first choice? Did you start with something else and then you moved to it? How did it start for you? For the people that are following us tonight.
yeah, well, initially I wanted to do physics and astronomy,
Wow.
and well, I wanted to become an astronaut, or a scientist in astronomy.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to do the test in physics and mathematics, and
Mm-hmm.
then they just looked at my results and they say, leave the big boys, go play with the child, and you go play with the children. You go in computing. You go in computer science. This is for the children.
Okay.
Go play
Okay.
with this. I was quite shocked. I even cried in my room later that day, and I'm not kidding, because that was really my dream. I used to look at the moon every day for
Mm-hmm.
hours and hours, imagining so much stuff, and it was really my dream, my dream job, and I couldn't achieve it. But I loved computer science, and that's where I landed. So I did an engineering school
Mm-hmm.
in France, the
Mm-hmm.
equivalent of a master in
Mm-hmm.
computer science. And when I got into it, during my studies, I got the chance to be Cisco certified up
Okay.
to the CCIE. So it was a good kind of a launch pad in my career. So I
Okay.
studied in France, to work as a pre-sales engineer, and
Mm.
I evolved gradually. For a couple of years, I stayed in France to work as a technology consultant. So and I moved to UK, where I started to work with different companies such as Huawei, Ericsson, and other companies as a product manager. So I started to evolve towards something more, strategic, and more critical for companies, shaping up products,
Mm-hmm.
shaping up strategies. That's what I was doing, and I evolved naturally towards more strategic roles like
Mm-hmm.
CTO role, building my own company, and even advising operators in different regions, in South America, in Africa, in Asia, in Europe, in North America. So I've been working with a lot
A
of
lot of
operators.
companies. Wow, man, that's impressive. Just from there. So how was the move? How, why the choice of UK? How did that happen? Did you get a job to move from France to UK, or you
Yes,
decided?
exactly.
Okay.
I had the opportunity to change gear. I was
Okay.
working in France as a consultant in technology. I was working throughout Europe. It was interesting, but
Uh-huh.
I wanted to take a more strategic position, and more, important to define strategies, not to be at the head of strategy, because it's not the case as a product manager, because you're reporting to the head of product management, and he's reporting to the CTO. But I wanted to be part of that. And as a matter of fact, I joined, Marconi Communication was acquired by Ericsson, and I
Okay.
started to work really closely to the optical and Ethernet strategy. So I was involved into standard organization like ITU, IETF, and
Okay.
started to shape the industry, vision
Hmm.
about technology. So it was really helping me to become the guy who understood that the only way to move forward is actually knowledge. This is not
Okay.
ego, this is not money, this is really knowledge. So my goal was to pursue knowledge, not pursue the money, not
Hmm.
pursue the title, but pursue the knowledge. The more I could learn, this is where I would go. So from Marconi Communication / Ericsson, I went to
Hmm.
Huawei. From Huawei, I stayed a year, and I went to Adva Optical Networking, reporting directly to the CTO. And it was the guy who recruited me. It was the CTO of Adva Optical Networking. It
Hmm.
was my ex-boss in Ericsson. So he
Wow.
wanted me in as part of his team.
In that
I was
position,
reporting
yes.
directly to him. So in such a case, he helped me to change my mindset. My mindset was not about ego. Forget
Hmm.
about this. My mom used to say, if you have the sense of an ego inside you, crush it. It
Crush
doesn't
it.
exist. The only way to learn is humility, and the way to learn is the way to evolve is about knowledge. So the goal for me was really to tap into knowledge wherever I could go.
Wow. If you are connecting with us tonight, you are on Kakombe LinkedIn Live. And like always, I have special guests. And my guest tonight is Luc, a special guest. And we're talking about technology, and we're talking about Luc, his journey from France to UK. Now he's based in Canada. And like I said, Luke and I connected back from UK. So what's going to happen in this show? It's kind of we're going to go back and forth. So we want to give the people that are following us his journey, from UK to France and to the Canada, and myself from UK to France and to USA. So we're gonna try to give you a little bit of different flavors on the Luke's journey and my journey and where we are today. Let's start. How so you are in UK now. What happened? What's your first job? How did you decide that, hey, this was the role and that was the path?
Every single time, in my career, this is funny because this is what I'm saying to my wife, and also to other
Hmm.
people that support me. It's
Hmm.
every single time I had the hand of God on top of everything I do. This is
Amen.
strange, but this is also the luck in life. I was in France. I was searching for an opportunity. There was a big opportunity with Marconi Communication,
Hmm.
which will be acquired by Ericsson.
Hmm.
And then I got the opportunity to get the relocation package, to get everything to relocate, and get this strategic product manager role for the optical strategy team
Hmm.
in Marconi Communication. It was amazing. Traveling all over the place, going
Hmm.
in Dubai, going in Australia, going in US, going in Asia. It was amazing. Yeah, it was an amazing job.
Wow.
And this is the opportunity, basically. and and
Hmm.
and 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 the person that is my wife today was actually living in UK at that time. Yeah.
So that's how you got to meet your wife in UK.
Exactly.
And from UK, you and I met in France, but we both were living in UK first, and then, in my
Right.
case, I was just made redundant from a job in UK. I had a choice to go to Netherlands or go to France, but I decided to take a break, so I came to US, did some training, went back to UK and go, a job back in France again, and from there, I got the opportunity that so you and I got to meet in that company. How
Yes.
did it happen for you?
Well, as you said, I lost my job when I was at Adva Optical Networking. I was
Okay.
made, redundant because of complications for the
Mm.
company,
Uh-huh.
and I was searching for an opportunity, and I came by this opportunity to work as a to work as a contractor for Polycom.
Wow.
So we met together at Polycom, and at Polycom that was the start of something. I
Mm-hmm.
always wanted to discover everything about video conferencing,
Mm-hmm.
telepresence,
Mm.
and I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
So I got the opportunity of joining Polycom, and I met fantastic people, including you,
Hey,
mate.
hey, let's give that was a place,
Th-
a lot of people that we met in that company all over the world, here in USA,
I mean,
the Polycom team in France. It was just an amazing time. I actually spent 3 years there before moving to the state, and I wanted to share some pictures for my living do the way that team, took care of me and
yeah.
just supported me when I was moving here. It was just amazing. Hey, the Polycom team, France and UK,
Oh yeah.
kudos to you guys, and continue to do what you're doing.
This is funny what you're saying, because I still have fond memories about the Polycom time, the guy that we met, Mustafa Geshi,
Mm,
Bendji, all these guys that were just extremely talented,
yes.
knowledgeable,
Yeah.
smart, but kind,
Mm,
and really to help. And these were not the only people that were like this.
yes. I mean,
Everyone was like
everyone.
that. That was just an amazing time. And it really reinforced my view of being kind to people, and
Yes.
being truthful to the future,
Yeah.
to stay humble. Whatever knowledge you have, whatever title you have, stay humble, because all these guys, they were all like that. I remember staying,
Hmm.
8 p.m. at night, 9 p.m. at night, because I needed to finish to prepare for a demo the
Hmm.
next day. The head of Europe sales was
Mm.
there helping me to prepare for my demo. He
Can you
said, "Do you need
imagine
some help?" And it was like the big shot guy
the
in
big?
Europe, and he was
Yeah.
helping me, being in t-shirt, helping me to set up the systems and everything. That was just amazing.
It was indeed an amazing time. I actually left Polycom to move to the States. Polycom was my last gig in Europe, I would say, in France, to move to USA. An amazing party, got a lot of present, and I moved to US. When I moved here, I actually came because, I had some money, and my plan was just to spend some time with my kids and decide to see what I'll do next. What happened to you from that for your journey to Canada? How did that happen?
It was a little bit more complex for me, because
Mm,
I only stayed at 10 months at Polycom, because
okay.
I had an opportunity to create my own company.
Okay.
So I left Polycom to create my own consultancy firm.
Hmm.
So I created my own consultancy firm, and I've started to work in Europe, Benelux,
Okay.
France, and also Africa.
Wow.
So since my company was booming and I had a lot of demands, I
Mm,
relocated back in France to really move my company forward.
okay.
And I started alone, and we
Mm,
we finished with 17 consultants
wow.
in something like 2 or 3 years. It was crazy. And luckily or unlucky, I had investors, and
Mm,
they decided to sell the company, because I was the minor investor finally, because of the need of cash to develop the company. They
We'll
had
talk.
to
We'll talk about that another time.
Yes,
Starting
and so
your
they sold my
startup.
company. I didn't want to do it, but they sold my company, so we sold it well. And then I got to work with to find another job with
Uh-huh.
PCW Global.
Wow.
PCW Global is a carrier, an operator of operator.
Okay.
It's actually extending the footprint of other operators who wants to reach other regions.
Mm.
And then after a year, I got contacted by a company named Contron Canada. They
Okay.
wanted me to relocate initially in Asia,
Okay.
in Taiwan. So we discussed about the possibility to relocate in Taiwan. It was
Mm-hmm.
difficult, too complex. So
Okay.
they offered me to take a job with them to lead the emerging markets business development team and to be the head of the SDN NAV strategy. So it was the first time
Mm.
I could define my own strategy, not being
Yeah.
being obligated to follow the strategy from others. For the first time, that would be my own show. It
Okay.
was really, the pressure on me was immense because I
Mm.
needed to develop a
Mm.
strategy that would make some sense, you know.
Wow.
And then I relocated to Canada to work for this company. So instead of telling you it was difficult to relocate in Canada to find a job, no, I would lie. The reality is I was recruited, headhunted, and I got offered a job, relocation package for me, my family. They were paying my rent for a year, so it was really easy for me. I
Hey,
wouldn't lie and then say to you, it was it was
and why should it be difficult? It shouldn't be always difficult. In your case, you had the knowledge, the company needed you, wanted you, they did what they had to do to make sure that you relocated in the condition that you deserve. Because let's say, you know, like I say, you're a veteran in this industry. You've walked the walk, you can talk the talk. So company should treat you as you deserve.
yes, but at the same time,
Mhm.
even now I'm 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 really glad that I joined this company. This was
Okay.
a great company.
Mhm.
I had a lot of freedom. I've got to
Mhm.
say that this company let me do whatever I wanted to do. I needed to develop first Asia, and then I did it.
Mhm.
But at the same time, I was developing Africa, and also I recruited someone to develop South America.
Okay.
After 3 years, we were actually in bed with Telefonica, Telecom Italia, Bell, Verizon, KDDI in Japan.
Mhm.
We're also discussing with Chungwa Telecom in Taiwan. So we're doing great stuff in a matter of 3 years. And this
Wow.
company was barely discussing with operators until now when I joined. And it's not me; it's also the
It's a
people that I
team.
recruited
Yes.
to support me and
Yeah.
to drive the regions that they were driving. But fundamentally, this was also the product, the team that was supportive, the teamwork. Really,
Hey.
it's never a man that is doing everything. And
No.
when people are saying that, people are talking about Steve Jobs or the genius of the geniuses, it's not true. The guy was supported by a team behind him. It's always like that. So. And to me, I was doing a lot of effort to them,
Mhm.
for them, because they were really kind for me and my family, so I wouldn't let them down. But ultimately, they let me go in 2019 for restructuring the company and everything. But until now, I'm still
Grateful.
extremely glad and
Mhm.
grateful about what they've done for me. Yeah.
Hey, you deserve it. We're here. You are in Canada. And if you are connecting with us tonight, you are in Kakombe LinkedIn Live. Drop a comment. And if you have a question for myself or for Luke, drop the question. We'll be glad to answer that. You're in Canada. You've been there for
Seven
few
years.
years now.
Yeah, 7 years. Mm.
A lot of people whether it's Canada or the States, we have a lot of people in Europe or in Africa that they looking maybe to make that move. Yes, it's been easy for you, but you also understand a little bit of the Canadian market today in terms of jobs. How it is. Can you share something on that for people that are maybe considering to move to Canada? Any
Well,
advice?
that would be, people might say, well, you're saying that because you live in Canada, but it's the best place in the world, to be honest.
For real?
For real. No
Hey,
competition
that
with the US.
that
And
that's
not
that's
not
that
intended.
that's Luc-Yves Pagal Vinette words.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm kind of a, patriotic on some level because I'm gonna
Hey,
become Canadian soon. But
hey,
the country is fantastic. People are
and
just amazing.
I'll say America is the blessed place in the world.
No competition intended.
No.
But the two countries are great. But in Canada, what I would say is that this
Mhm.
is a place when you can feel at home. In a couple of months.
Okay.
People are really, really nice, really easy going, and at the
Hmm.
same time, the job market is really booming.
Okay.
For now, 4 years or something, it's
Mm.
really difficult actually for Canadian companies to recruit because they're lacking skills. We're lacking people to join the Canadian family,
Okay.
and the job opportunities are amazing. If you look across Canada
Mm.
from Montreal to Toronto to Vancouver, there's so many opportunities. There's so many great opportunities in IT, in telecoms, in executive level,
Mm.
in the intermediate level, to management level, to very the very starting um, starting jobs.
Hmm.
So there's so many opportunities at so much levels in so many industries at the same time.
Okay.
It's kind of crazy, and this is a place where you can find opportunities right away. You don't have to wait for years to find good opportunities, and the salaries are great. People are fantastic. The climate can be rough during the winters, but
Hmm.
all in all, it's a great place.
Hey, I'm glad you're living your best life in Canada and your family. Man, it's a blast to have you here with me, my friend. You and I have the same journey. You're living your best life in Canada. I'm living my best life in USA, and we are grateful, for the
Absolutely.
opportunity that's presented to us, and we get to enjoy the freedom that this country offer to us. USA and Canada. That's we probably don't have in the country of origin. In my case, the Democratic Republic of Congo, which is a different place and a different story. That's probably touch on another time. Back to you. We're going to the end of this LinkedIn. It's gone so quick, and that's how it goes. You start and before you know it, it's we are approaching the end of the show. But before we go, as we finishing this chat, you and I, uh, you've reached that management level. My shows are always about helping people find opportunities and job. You get to hire people. When a resume gets in your desk, or when you're recruiting people in your team, what do you look for? What any advice that you can drop here tonight before we sort of finish on this live show?
I would say people with skills that
Hmm.
are never stop moving. You're learning. You're on the learning path or learning curve
Hmm.
constantly, and this has to show in the resume nowadays.
Wow.
People don't necessarily. I know people that are CX officers.
Hmm.
They have a bachelor. They
Hmm.
don't have a PhD. They don't have a master. They have a
Hmm.
bachelor,
Hmm.
and nonetheless, they are in these positions because they are constantly learning and
Learning.
evolving. And trying to make them better.
Yeah.
Every single day. For example, kudos to my friend Elaji Yaya Sal.
Okay.
who came directly from Senegal, who had a difficult journey to come in Canada. But
Mm.
you know, once again, knowledge, it's about everything. So
Yeah.
it's about the end of God in everything you do. I want to say that once again because that's really important. And at the same time, being on the path of knowledge every single time, being humble, being hardworking. That's the way forward. If you see someone that is trying to have an easy path in life, then you
Yeah.
will have an easy path in the job. But in the job is about taking risks, listening to management for sure, but taking
Hmm.
risk, taking initiatives. You only taking initiatives when you know what you're doing, when you have certain level of knowledge to have the know-how and to alleviate the risks of making some choices. And this is about knowledge. So this has to be viewed and stated within the resume.
It's all about the knowledge. And, one thing I can share, on my personal journey, from the day I started learning computers, I have never got comfortable in any job that I had.
Yeah,
And because when you start getting comfortable, you stop learning.
absolutely.
You're comfortable in that position before you know it. Other people are moving. And when you lose that job, guess what? You're behind. You need to go and train yourself. But
That
if you are training yourself for the tomorrow job, guess what? You'll be moving from one job to the other. Like you said,
absolutely.
knowledge is everything. And if you have the knowledge, you'll be relocated from one country to another because you have the knowledge and the skill and the experience that the company is looking for.
And I would say, as a last advice, I would say leave the cocky attitude and then be humble. Whatever you meet, you don't have to be scared if you're meeting the CEO, the CTO, or whatever company. Personally, I don't care if I'm talking to my CEO tomorrow. A lot of respect and everything, but
Mm.
I will speak my mind. With truthfully and then humbly, but I will speak my mind. Because it's about humility, but people with cocky attitude, believing that they know everything because they went through the best schools in the world, doesn't make you better than others. Not at all.
That's the word that we're going to be finishing on this live show tonight. Stay humble. And if you are not following us yet, hey, please do. Hired Ministry is the platform. We promote you, we talk about you, we help you launch your product, we help you recruit new people if you're recruiting new people. And if you're looking for an opportunity, this is the platform for you to come. You and I are going to have a conversation. When we finish, that's conversation. It's actually a resume, a video resume that you can send to company. You can tag the company that you want to work for tomorrow. So thank you so much, my friend. I
Thank
appreciate you spending time with me tonight. And I'll see you next
Yes,
time.
this was totally my pleasure, and I'm grateful for you for inviting me. Thank you very
Hey,
much.
you all have a good night,
Yeah,
and thank you for connecting with us tonight. And until next time, you were on Kakombe LinkedIn Live. Bye bye for now.
thank you, thank you,
Bye.
everyone. Bye.
Mm.